I'm going to pull the front bar off and repair and paint it, I think. It's now Christmas holidays, so I've got 2 weeks with no work, so I've got time to work in the car. Hi, I'm Tangles. This is my garage and this is my car. So the most recently fitted item, cooler plate's got to come off. So I can get that off, so I can get the 2 bolts under there and the 2 bolts that are under here. But that's what's holding this front bar on. Try not to snap any on this one yet. That easy. I bought this little set of cheap mini pliers and stuff for like 15 bucks from Super Cheap. They come in handy to get into the little places and stuff, and the small side cutters are much better for cutting zip ties because they're spring loaded rather than my big side cutters which aren't. Grill. Comes away that easy, and it's going to get the contact the lots. Easier on one side than the other because so I've actually got to unplug the wires because the bolt won't come out for whatever reason. There we go. Bar off, and it looks like that. So I'm going to try, there's a lot of scuffs here. I was considering just doing these bits like there, and there. I was considering just doing those, but there's a lot of little marks and stuff on this bar. Probably have to paint the whole bar. Oh, and down here on both sides, but those corners from when it was too low from previous owners. So I will need more rattle cans, and I am going to just paint it with rattle cans. I've had it paint matched, and I've painted these corners in the past when I did the original repair on it, which broke when I crashed it again, and it worked perfectly. It's fine. You couldn't see it, so which is why I was considering just doing the spots again, just like I did the spots last time. But there's just a lot of scuffs, a lot of bits of paint missing. There. Some of this might be transfer though. Some of that might actually come off. See if I can clean it up a bit, and then decide. Well, starting the job, and the bars answered the question for me. I have to paint the whole thing. None of this is transferred. This is all small scratches in the paint that are going right through to the undercoat, and it's the same everywhere. So I've actually already rubbed that back there, this whole area, with just some 800 grit. This is 180 grit, getting the big chunky areas prepped first. I hate sanding, I hate prep work. I don't mind painting, I just don't like preparing for paint. That's where the hard work is. So some of these areas here, let's see if I can show you. Where it's been painted previously, the paint's actually cracked. It's not cracking from me sanding it, it's cracked from the bar flexing. And it's in a sharp little corner in there. So it's chipping away. If I don't remove it all in these areas, it'll just chip and flake away when I paint over it. It'll get little bubbles in it, so I've got to get all this out. So here's a sneak peek, sort of thing we're going to end up with. Got these paint cracks sort of pulled out on here. It's going to crack there as well, so I'll keep working in this area. But you get the idea. That's 180 grit paper I'm using there. I'm trying to not take all the paint off. I want to put only like 1 or 2 coats on and then a clear. Thankfully the plastic is pretty much the same colour as the paint, so I shouldn't need to put much on even where I've gone through it, but I'll have to play that by ear when I'm actually painting it and have a look at how much coverage I get. But yeah, this is now just going to be several hours of sanding, and I'll show you the finished product when it's done. Alright, I'm not quite done here. Let me turn this off. I'm getting closer. I've done lots of the rough work, but what I have here is a bend in the plastic effectively. Now I did do this once before. I showed you how I did it in here. Because this side that's busted, yeah, and how to fix this. But this here, I don't know if you can even see it very well. So that's still my finger going out straight, and that's the bend out there. So heat gun, heat, and a little bit of force should hook it. Alright, should do the trick. Here they are, right next to me. It's quite soft and malleable at the moment. There's a nice crease line in the material. Know where to bend it to. Well, this is purely aesthetic. It doesn't hit on anything or get in the way of anything. I'll be annoyed if it hits the cooler pipe now actually. We'll just bend it back to where it came from. Like so. Much flatter. It's not perfect, but it's, yeah. When you're looking at the bar from up here, when it's on the car, you're not going to notice it now, whereas you could see it before. Anyway, I'll keep going now. I'll have to resand all that when it cools down a bit. Jeez, it's hot. Alright, here's the bar. After I've rubbed it all down, worked on all the repair areas. I actually had to get the rasp out and sort of reshape all this where I had the heavy fiberglass. And the last thing I've done is rub the whole thing down with, well, wax and grease remover, but before that 400 grit, just to make sure we removed all of the clear coat. Yeah, so I'm painting on paint. So in these little areas here, I'll put a little bit of primer, but over the rest of it, I'm painting on paint. So I should just be able to paint my paint straight over it. So I'll prime specific areas that need it. But for the time being, I've got to bog up the corners where I draw these holes for the fiberglass to bite in. It's still a good idea, but it just means I've got holes here. So I've got my bog, going to mix it up, slam it on. So the instructions say add 50 to 1 by weight. This is more bog than I need. I'm not an experienced bogger, so I'm going to take a punt at 50 to 1. Thing about that, I don't mind if it goes off relatively quickly because I don't have a large area to do it. Although based on there being no more in there, might be enough. So I don't need a lot here. There's not a lot to be filled, so I'm not going to cake it on heaps. It says don't put it on any more than 3 mil thick on the tin, which is probably good advice. I think if you had to put 3 mil of bog on, you probably should have done more work to the base material. Now rinse and repeat on the other side. Well, lesson learned, that was way too much catalyst because it's already gone off. So in the bin with that. I'll clean this out and I'll do it again with less of everything. Alright, trying again with that much. Probably can't even see it, it's pretty dark up there. And you certainly won't see over here where I'm doing it, where I'm applying it. Let's do it quickly. Little spots in here. Now I'll have to do the bottom side as its own thing, I think, but I don't think it's supposed to go off that quick. I think I've mixed it too strong again. Most of it's filled, and I'll be able to sand them back tomorrow and finish the job. I think I'm done for the day. Time for a beer. I got sick of sanding by hand, so I borrowed a palm sander. And I'm going to do it with that now. I need, because this compressor's a bit shit, I need to keep it going to keep the air up to it, and it's noisy as shit, so I won't really film me sanding much, but obviously I'm going to sand down the bogged areas. There's something I have to do over here, and I'll show you that before I move on. I'm over this side actually, you probably can't see for the light. There's actually some cracks in the paint, and I think it's all going to have to come off, but we'll do these bogged areas first, and then we'll have a look at that. Well, it's just plain not working. I don't think I'm generating enough flow for it to operate properly. I mean, it does work, it's just very, very slow, very painstaking. So I think I'm going to have to go back to manual sanding. Sanded off all the old bog in the corners and where it was, and yeah, left it where it needed to be left, and I've done the leading edge here where it needed doing. Gotta let that set, sand it back, then prime and paint. I think that's what I gotta do. But it's just sort of slow, tedious work, especially that that doesn't drive enough for the sander. Having to do it by hand, but a bit of hard work never killed anyone, and I just don't like hard work. If I can avoid it, I will, but can't in this case. It's got to be done, so I've just got to do it. So in this case, because I have to wait for the bog to set, I'll go play some computer games, I suppose, for a couple of hours while that does that. This is all dried, set, whatever it is that it does. This is the last bit of the bog to be done, so I'm hoping to prime it today at least, if not get a coat or two of the base coat, the colour on it. Okay, well, due to my ineptitude, the storage was full on the camera. Last thing you got me doing was rough shaping this. I've since finished rough shaping it, and then mainly this one here. This is the biggest or deepest bit of bog, where the bar had actually sort of a bit had come out of it, and it had flexed and split, and the repair had been done, but there was still quite a hollow in there. Anyway. I rough sanded it, all this, get final shaping, and then I've hit the whole bar with the random orbital with 250 grit sandpaper, and what I can't do is go any further because the side of the bar is, I'll show you why. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but in the paint there are all these cracks. It's right through. Seems to go right down through to the base coat. They're radiating down this way, then here, all through here, down there. And if I paint this, they'll just come through the paint. So I'll just try giving them a clean with wax and grease remover, because that seemed to show it up last time. And if I go like this, it's not really showing up. So you can see these vertical lines starting to appear. They're cracks in the paint. They've got to come out, so I'm going to have to hit that with something a bit. Oh yeah, they look like runs there. They're not. That's just where the wax and grease remover is in the crack and not evaporating as quickly as the surface, which means that they go all the way through. So I'm going to have to sand it all out. It's disappointing. It's having to use the paint that was there as the base coat. If I take all that out, I'm going to have to prime all that as well. So I went to town on this with 400 grit sandpaper by hand, and then hit it with the random orbital. Can't see any cracks, but let's do this test again because it shows it up quite well. Oh, there's some there. If you can see there. See that I'm getting in the way of the light when I get close. These lines here, still there, and not as bad as they were. A little bit more with the random orbital might solve that. There's a little bit here. See a couple of lines. It looks like it didn't go all the way through all of the layers of paint, just through most of them. And then in the corners here, obviously, to get it all out, I had to get everything off, so because they're not flat surfaces, they're hard to sand around. But that shouldn't take too much more.